love. You something serious, you something different. Got me putting all my time in you. Immaculate imagery, take my eyes off of you. The details in the time, in fact, remind me that I could be wherever you could be too. Look at where our time is at. Let's jump the broom, cross the line with that. But you just wanna ride around the city, bumping love song. And I just wanna drink a fifth of Henny, get love. I'm talking late night body rub. And you ready for that? Deep soap is anything you want. I know you ready for that. Just anything you need, I can put that on you. I can give you all you need. Let me put that on you. I can give you all of me. Let me put that on you. Let me put that on you, baby, baby. Let me put that on you. Let me put that on you, baby, baby. Let me put that on you.
Know about me and those rabbits. I got a bad habit of copying shit I really can't afford. Fresh to death like a nigga need a more. They bite my style, try to copy it, they forge. I'm with a new bitch, thinking how the monkey is. You know, curious to the George. You know they say pussy got the power. I guess I'm dealing with a Taurus. From April to May, had a couple dinner dates, but I never hit home base. Frustrate, trying to keep my patience vain. Damn, but it's slower than some Coldplay. I got the blues like it's Coltrane. Got me going insane, blow my brains like it's Cobain. So just give me about an hour while I take this cold shower. Whip drawers of the Mary Jane. Man, I miss kissing Mary Jane. It got me less distance from the pain. You get me? Man, I miss kissing Mary Jane. It got me less distance from the pain. Clearly.
If there's anything you want, let me put that on you. If there's anything you need, I can put that on you. I can give you all you need. Let me put that on you. I can give you all of me. Let me put that on you. Just let me put that on you. Something simple. 90s vibes. Energy vibes. You into me? I'm into you. Let's make it make sense. Let's rock.
Technical pause, we'll cut right there, and then we'll be right back with your future presentation.
Here's the bottom though. We got to clean out the stove. Oh shit, that's
I suppose you never stop whipping it in the kitchen.
no.
To this day.
It's Sunday.
To
Sunday.
this day.
To this day. I
No,
can still
Sunday
cook
is
a
cooking
dish
day.
quick.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that podcast?
Which one?
Till this day.
I have not.
It's a fuck. I can't remember the guy's name now. Damn it. He was just on Rogan, but he's interviewing all the boxers and shit.
That's a good concept for a
And he,
podcast.
what's up?
That's a good concept for a
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah. Well, it's from the when he was trying to remember the Deontay Wilder interview where he
Yep.
kept saying to this day, like he was him, the guy trying to interview him about some shit, and Deontay Wilder just kept going off about I don't even know what he was yelling about, but so he named his show To This Day. Like, but it was good. It was a good one.
Anyway, back again.
Back again. Wrong.
Thought we were going to disappear for a while. They didn't realize that, we were strategizing, right? You got business opportunities. You got business opportunities. I got business opportunities. They got business opportunities. Unfortunately, we don't got to live here right now. But it's a busy season. It's summertime.
It is.
We're getting ready. Putting a lot of things in place, so please be patient with us. But with no further ado, the TheSagaPod is back with episode 10. And before I even give you the episode itself, please like, share, and subscribe. Please comment, let us know, because we are actually doing a little bit better at paying attention to what you guys are saying. Definitely on the Instagram front. And we're going to do better about posting content over there. Just give us a little bit of time. We're working on a lot of different things. Before I get any further into this, shout out to our editor, Tom Schaeffer Productions. He has been doing a phenomenal job. It's just with all of us trying to get timing right now, it's been a little bit difficult for material to get put in place and for us to sit back and get everything the right way. So give us a little bit while we adjust. The song that was just playing at the beginning, that is off of an upcoming project. Me and Mike have been hard at work. We're working on a collective of 3 different projects right now. You got our joint project, you got my next project, and you got his project all at the same time. So
Our separate project.
So we're working through all of those details at the same time. Everybody's in full pursuit of their goals, and everything's working out for our team. So don't think our team is falling apart. It's just it makes it a little harder to produce content when we all have schedules that we have to be responsible for, as well as the requirements of our everyday lives. So
It's hard to spend time talking about the things that you're doing when you're busy doing the things that you're doing.
yeah,
That's really what it is. That's the way it is.
We just go chasing, dream chasing, y'all. We apologize.
That's it.
with that being said, let's get into episode 10. Where do we want to start? Do we want to do it because we were already on the music video? We want to just go straight in and just hammer it home?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, so for us, this is like possibly part 3 of this Megan and Tory thing. And we'll keep going through it as it develops. But this week, the doctor came out and said it was glass, man. Before we even discuss it, do we even think this is the real doctor, or do we believe it's the
Yep,
real
I
doctor?
believe it.
I believe.
I believe it's the real doctor.
I believe it.
Max?
I believe it's a real doctor.
No, I believe it's the
Ain't a real
doctor.
doctor.
I believe it's the doctor. The same hospital, same time,
Yeah.
but they never published the doctor's name when they put out all the shit.
I believe that everyone has a price and is susceptible
Agreed.
to certain things, and I think that doctor is probably saying exactly what Megan Thee Stallion wants that doctor to say.
That's not what she wants
I
to
would
say.
think it'll be
She
the
said she
opposite.
got shot. Tory said she stepped on glass. At the beginning, she said, I stepped on glass, then she lied.
It's deeper
But
than that.
Can I put on my detective hat for
It's
2
deep.
seconds?
Oh, okay.
Okay, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, right? So at the scene, they said they found 4 shell casings. Said they found a broken fingernail
and an earring.
and an earring. Everything that's on the table right now is there's a best friend that's not talking. Tory has put out, whatever publicity or statements he has that said, the issue was that he was entangled with Megan and entangled with Megan's friend. I think the information that we got right now says that Megan was in the front seat, hopped out the front seat, and got back in the front seat, which, if you're thinking about a place to put a gun that you probably shouldn't have in you, is probably right there in your hand compartment, so that would mean easy access on that front.
But you forgot something. The witness said that he heard 2 females arguing, then they was outside fighting.
And this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going as a detective. If I had an issue with a friend, and I was out of control because I was very liquored up, this is not me personally, because I would never do this to a friend. I'd rather just tee off, get it out the way, and then we move on about our lives. Should you pull a gun, gotta go back with 2021, 2022 right now.
2021.
Talking about this. During that time, the modern fashion was for women to have the really extended nails. As a person who has extensive experience in learning the mechanisms behind firearms, how hard would it be to get that nail in there immediately? Would it not potentially be in a place where the nail might break?
You gotta reach around.
You gotta
Yeah, you literally gotta you gotta look at it and reach around.
You'd almost have to go like
Reach around.
fingernail
Nope.
in the trigger guard first, and then put your hand
Finger
on it.
in there, yeah. That's
You know
what
what I'm saying?
I'm
Like
getting
you
at,
can't grab the gun and then get the finger in there.
Because that fingernail,
Because
but
it won't work.
think
you have
about
to
it.
go finger first. Yeah.
if it's fake, that fingernail's not gonna pull. That shit gonna pop off. Fingernail popped off. Literally. I had fake nails before. A bit natural now. But
Lots of things popped off.
but it pops off.
There's word pop off.
Nail popped off because she popped off, and now it popped off.
Yeah,
wow.
you got it. They were both popping off, and then the fingernail popped off in the process of the gun popping off. Now we got 3.
Pop
That's 3 pops, but there were 4 shells. So
Now the cops is in the situation because the situation popped off.
oh fuck, that's.
But
4.
could that first shell be an ND shell?
And now we in court because the litigation didn't popped off.
I think all of those were negligent, to be honest.
Maybe,
Shit
but
just screams-
maybe the last 3 were purposeful.
But maybe.
But could that first one be, oh, my nail hit the shit, my finger just hit the shit and I didn't realize it?
Or even worse, you think improper management of control, 2 thumbs in line, long nail, hammer pulls back, hammer clips nail off.
What kind of gun was it?
We don't know.
Don't know. But
That's
this is
the
where
thing.
my mind took me to, right? What if what we're looking at, again, this is speculation, this is a entertainment and lifestyle podcast. We do speculation, we don't do litigation, we don't put anybody ahead of a crime, right? We don't judge anybody until it's all over.
No haterations.
But even sometimes we will put judgments on acts in real life. but we don't know the details right now.
Of course not.
So I'm just saying, theoretically, you got a situation with two homegirls popping off and it's getting hot about a dude that really wants nothing to do with anything whatsoever because he's at the top of the world right now and he has what red pill people call options. She gets mad. She gets out of control. This isn't the first incident we've seen of her online getting out of control. This ain't the first time the police have arrested her getting out of control. She's the shooter. We playing real life Clue, guys. I'm just trying to make the pieces make sense on the board.
My point is, Tori says it was glass. Doctor says it was glass. She says it was gunshot wounds. Right? That's the deal. I think they're all in agreement on what they're all gonna say because whatever happens, this is publicity for them. It's attention.
But see,
And
the
that's
negative
the
part
real-
of it is it took down Tori's sales.
Yeah, it fucked him up, literally. He
But
had podcast, radio.
It brought her sales up.
all
There's
that
gotta
shit.
plan. There's got to be a plan. I'm just saying. I'm super conspiratorially minded with this, and I think it's attention because that's the ultimate
I
like.
love where you're taking it.
That's
Because
what people talk about addiction to shit in this world in America in particular.
Fame
The
is
addiction
addictive.
is attention.
What
is
attention
people are
you can
addicted
get.
to.
and I completely agree with that. Here's my counter to that. 'Cause here's my part of the debate. Me and you will debate it back and forth. We'll let Liddy be the third chair. Ia be the female chair. That way we have some type of non-sexist things going on in this podcast for us because we do a lot of sexisms.
We do. Yeah, I have done a sexism too.
I've done a sexism 3 maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Uh,
Allegedly.
So.
Yeah.
Tory is at the top of his career and he's about to get off of his label. Meg is still in the build-up of her career. Garners attention, pulls up Jussie Smollett. Now I am the Amber Heard of women's rights activists again. I'm doing this off the script, guys, so I'm flipping these bars. Don't even pay
You
attention
really
to how
are.
call what they are. But so she does that.
Did you intend to rhyme just now?
I did it. That's what's cold about it. It's just happening. But she does it, goes off the script. She's tired of Tory anyway, so why not bury him? Here's the two things I'm paying attention to right now, outside of the actual case. Because again, I'm paying attention to the case because I want to know how does this shape our culture in the future. I don't want to grow up in a culture where I'm pursuing my musical dream in a culture that says it's okay for men to abuse women, but even more so in a culture where it's okay to say that every woman on first take is correct. You know what I mean? And it's not that I'm weighing the two against each other. It's just the opportunity to see another person try to do something positive. And now there's sexism in it because we believe one side, because historically one side is victimized. I don't take it away from the victims that have gone through it in real life. But it comes back to this 40-60 rule. There's more damage done when you fake being a victim to the realistic victims, and that same damage is done to the person that had the opportunity to do positive about a culture.
But that
Right.
can't apply here.
It has to apply here. It can only apply here because if she's legit not the victim she's saying she is, it makes every victim that looks like her for the rest of their life look like a liar.
That's what I'm saying.
Very
Can't apply.
questionable.
It's based off of biases and who it is, who's saying it, who does around, who all of this, because there are actual victims out there that expressed that shit and got pushed on the rug like, oh, this person gonna do this.
And that's what I'm
Okay.
saying right now. We're looking at two really big cases.
I
We're
think
looking
I
at
think you're both
Meg.
kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I think so in a way.
We're agreeing, we're disagreeing on the end result.
Yeah.
But
outcome.
that's the two things we got going on with the Meg Thee Stallion case and also the Johnny Depp case, right? And then both sides, I'm picking those sides because those are the ones that are. I'm naming them by that because they're both claiming to be the victims. I'm not separating anything. This is Johnny Depp's case. He's the one pursuing it. This is Megan Thee Stallion's case. She's the one pursuing it, right? So
Well, to be fair, right, but to be fair, Amber Heard is countersuing Johnny Depp for twice the amount that he is suing her for.
and I
So-
would agree with that detail in the
So
litigation.
now we've got two. I mean, it's like two belligerents with the same goal, basically different dollar amounts, but the same goal.
I would agree with that in the litigation for
Yeah.
sure. But with the circumstance itself, outside of the case itself, I'm watching what's happening, right? You got one person doing constant interviews and making posts and calling out anybody that is accusatory of their stance.
Which person
Specifically
is
in
that? To
this
be clear,
one.
which person is that?
Meg,
It's
Yeah.
Megan. And then you got another individual who's constantly producing music and focused on career projection, which is also the same person who got shorted on the music deal.
Tory.
When you have confidence in something, would you work on it more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna change
That's
that.
my
You gonna
life.
stick to the script.
Yeah, that's my life. I know I'm not wrong, so
You just gonna be like,
So you
okay.
got confidence in the case, so why would you be focused on music? You don't want to be focused on the case, right?
no.
Well, it depends. See, that's a good question, right?
That's
that's
tough.
If he was confident in the case,
This
one
isn't-
might argue.
This isn't him. This is her I'm talking about.
Well,
If you got confidence in the case, why would you spend your time on music? Because again, what I'm looking at is, in the time that this entire case has been going on, she's done what, 2-3 songs?
when you say confidence in the case, are you saying confidence that the case will work itself out in her favor?
Yeah.
She could be completely confident in what she's saying is true, but still have lack of faith in the justice system doing what it's designed to do, based on plenty of historical data
I
that
say
points
it's
to.
Which
right?
is true.
But what's the odds of
But-
that though?
but
Like
you gotta
seriously,
look-
like what's the odds of that?
The guy always comes out in the wrong. There you go.
Yeah, that's
Over
what
the
I'm
last
saying.
The odds of it.
So if you got
Yeah.
confidence in that,
Typically.
you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about marketing or money sales, right? Because right now your marketing is I'm a victim, pay attention, and the numbers make sense. He's on the decline. His numbers don't make sense, so he's focusing on the music and hoping that this works out and the true evidence comes out. That's what's making me lean more towards him on one side. He's also come out on constant sides and said, I'm not supposed to talk about the case. And even though I've given y'all these fidgets, I'm never going to fully talk about the case. And in all of the songs that he's dropped, he's addressed her as a woman he cares about, who is making a mistake, and who he wants to be able to bounce back. Whereas in the multiple times she's talked about him, whether it was publicity, it's always been highly disrespectful.
Fuck this guy, right? So,
Yeah, plan B.
So to your point, right? Maybe her going so hard at it is it's either her having lack of faith that the criminal justice system is going to do what it's supposed to do, or it's the fact that this is a lie that she has to keep doubling down on, right? We don't know. Additionally to that, Tori, I think what this definitely is, most definitely, if I was Megan's lawyer, I'd be pretty angry at her at this point, because what you have to do, it's like what do you do when you get arrested, regardless of whether or not you've done anything wrong? What do
Say
you
call my
shit.
lawyer.
You don't say shit. You call your lawyer and don't
shut
say
the fuck
shit.
up. It doesn't matter if it right. You shut the fuck up. And when the court case starts, right, your behavior outside of the courtroom can influence what happens, right, inside the courtroom. And your lawyers would most definitely tell you. And I'm assuming Tori's lawyer is probably like, hey man, here's what you need to do. You need to not be public about this. Just shut the fuck up. Please let me do my job. Your job right now, as far as the case is concerned, is shutting the fuck up. Please do that. I will talk. Megan's lawyer is probably telling her the same thing, and she's just not doing it for some reason.
With that, we'll take a small little intermission. We'll get Mike's take on what our two conclusive analytics are. Analytics, like we're experts.
Yeah, right.
And then we'll get into some deeper stuff, man.
Just a dude talking shit on the internet. Lydia, I gotta know. Who shot who? What's going on with Megan? What do you think?
You are the judge and the jury right now.
For the Megan thing, I don't. Megan, I'm sorry, but I just don't believe her. I don't believe her. Now they saying this glass. I seen some the other day. I don't know what the fuck I was watching, but when she first went to the hospital, they was like, "This is glass."
Yeah, she said she admitted
it
it.
wasn't no shot. Like, and you got to think the position he was in. Like they say, who he was with that night and whatnot. You know, it was gas. It was gasoline for the fire. So they already say Megan a nut. She done been in 1 or 2 incidents with past guys.
More than that.
More than that. So
That's just what we know.
that's
Yeah,
just
what we know. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shit, wow.
Then she lied already when she talked to
Gail King.
Gail King.
Don't
No one
say
had
it.
ever
No.
been on Gail King told the truth.
Yeah, she said they ain't had sex. It took
But-
her forever to answer the question.
Facts.
Did you have
Like,
sex
come
with
on,
him?
man.
No, Gail King said, were you involved with him? And she said, what?
The only thing I seen that was
Sexual?
ugly than that was like, yo, did you not have a relationship with alcoholics?
At the end of the day, women lie too.
Big
Okay,
facts.
it's not just guys.
Women, I'm sorry, big facts.
Yeah, women lie too, and somebody taught me this as a kid growing up. A man is a dog, a woman is a cat. A dog gonna shit in the front yard. A cat gonna shit in
Cover
the
that shit
backyard and cover the shit up. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
So with that, we're not coming to no cohesive conclusions. Don't
I'm
think
just
that
saying.
we're not judge, jury, or persecutor, even though we might joke about it or whatever.
And with Tory life, it's plenty of fish in the sea.
We looking at it the same way y'all
He's a
looking at it.
swimmer, not a floater.
But do you want to know the crazy thing? What have you heard about Tory before this? There you go. What have you ever heard about him before
None.
any of this?
Give me the 2 seconds real quick. With that being said, we're not judge, jury, or prosecutor. We're going through it real time the same way you guys are going through it. And we're just dissecting things as we see them. If the next thing that comes out is like, oh, Tory Lanez has a habitual habit of smacking people with his left hand, we'll get into that too. But for now,
Just one more thing.
we just analyzing.
Y'all judge R. Kelly when he went on, what's the girl name?
Okay.
And said he was a liar. Let's keep that same energy. Come on, man. I thought we was all equal.
And also, he was for fact a liar. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's
Come
keep
on,
the
man.
same energy.
But okay,
Can't judge it.
let's not conflate the two crimes here.
True,
Right,
true,
in
true.
all-
But even you can go back to the interview with what's it? Dang, the LA Sparks. Damn, she is one of the best female WNBA players.
Lisa Leslie?
Lisa Leslie
I say, what?
interviewed about Kobe on Gayle King, and Gayle King was like talking all the basketball stuff, and then towards the end of the interview was like, "What do you think about the rape allegations?" And it was like, wait, what? I thought we were talking about his legacy. And even Lisa Leslie was like, what are you doing right now?
She messy. Gail is
It's all
messy.
about
Gail is
publicity.
only about drama.
Gail is like,
Maury.
I know everybody that played an arcade game. And you put your tokens in and you need to continue. That is the ladder you like, okay, I know I can't beat this boss, but I'm still gonna put this coin in and try to play the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, no offense to Megan, but she got nervous. They probably was intoxicated. It's real life. That she should have kept it to herself. She got caught in her feelings, plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? When a man get caught in his feelings, he get locked up, he get shitted on his grave and everything. When a woman get caught in her feelings, they got the power to just blame the man for being wrong. When it's seen this over and over again, we're seeing it with Johnny Depp. We're seeing it with so many people. Like, the list goes on. Like Monica, like the Monica Lewinsky thing. I don't mean to get off to but did she just come out and say that, or did somebody figure that out, or did she come out and say that Monica Lewinsky shit?
I was so. Wait, you saying like the recent stuff that's come up?
No, the Monica Lewinsky.
I know they're doing
when it first
a
happened.
movie, but is Monica even still alive?
Yeah.
No,
She alive.
I gotta find out did Bill piss her off and then she came out and said that shit. Because you know what Wycliffe John said? It take two wrongs to make a right.
But could this be a part of that Me Too movement shit? Which is what Johnny Depp, Amber Heard's going off of. Could it be a part of that?
Hold up, let's take a tactical pause before we do that, because we're gonna have to dedicate a whole podcast to movements in
I'm
general,
just asking.
because each movement is getting taken over by a narrative of whoever has the most financial resource, and it just becomes what they want to talk about. So, but on that note, because I do love that you brought that up, and I do love what you last brought up, let's transition to our next one that's running on the narrative. This is our part 2 of the Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard
Oh
thing.
God.
And this is a case that's really just,
Confusing. You can say
it's
confusing.
so confusing, but the further it goes along, the more I'm feeling like, I'm already let people know my opinion. I'm feeling like Johnny Depp went through hell.
Look at him on the stand.
He can't look her in the eye, he can't say nothing about it.
No.
You could see the nervous laughs on his face, just being a person that grew through abuse, and you could see her just acting her ass off. And by the way, I want to give credit to her right now. You are phenomenally the worst actor of all time, and I love it. Like, you're doing so good at portraying how bad you are of an actor on set, on stand, that like, it makes sense why all your movies was the way they was beforehand.
I'm
What? So,
I'm gonna, because I don't want to misspeak here.
You are
so I got a
terrible
question.
actor, though.
You saying that, right?
What?
No, he's saying that she's a terrible actor.
She's
Actress.
a terrible actress.
Actress. The female version.
Yeah.
But how many females are believing her?
None that I've seen so far.
She still got her whole fucking fan support. When
We
she
see
came
a
out
lot
of the
of that,
courthouse,
but-
we watched it.
What we see a lot of is ghost accounts where people don't cut on their comments or follow back, right? So with that, I'm already seeing that's already something that's questionable in itself. But when you look at that like mass production of the whole situation, right? Think of this thing like it's a screenplay. The mass production initially was everybody was on board with her. And right now you're seeing so many people, even celebrities, come out about Johnny Depp and like, no, this isn't correct. So
would
if
never
this is
be
the
that.
play, this is the middle act. This isn't even the final act. This is the middle act where we see things change, and then the final act is whatever the conclusion of this court case is. There might be one or two more like major scenes in between. But the problem I have with that is the acting is poor.
She can't cry.
You can't cry. You keep confusing me. Like I want to feel for you. Like if you're a victim, I want to feel for you. But I can't feel for you because you keep telling me about couches and dresses and the
Or
floor
her
and the
dog.
rugs or the dogs. Like what?
Wait, Grey. Her dog got stung by me.
I don't
Dog
mean
got
going
something
there.
wrong with me.
That's what she brought up in
Her
court.
dog got stung by me.
Who fucking cares?
You got a dog, Max?
Nah, I used to.
How can you tell if your dog got stung
Well,
by
no,
a bee?
So I'll
cares?
tell you what, you can't. I mean, I don't know that you can definitively say, but I've definitely had like, if I'll be like, I've witnessed dogs like fucking with bees because that's a thing some dogs do.
They're cute.
That's why
Everyone
they
kills
fuck
you.
with it. And then if they do step on it and it stings them like in the paw, they'll kind of like knock
Limp?
off on it for
Yeah.
a little bit. But again, I don't. That has nothing to do with
With
anything.
what's going
Like,
on.
Why did I, you know?
Hey,
And that,
me and you are homies, right?
right.
Me and you get into a fight one day, and we're just like, yo, let's tee off about it. We tee off. A bunch of strangers come ask us about the fight. We probably not gonna talk about the fight because we homies. But if we had to talk about it, we'd probably like just describe it as what the fight was. Like,
we
bro
had
did this, I did this, and then we like kind of teed off, and then we got over it. I wouldn't be like,
My dog.
Max
got
said
stung by
something, and I was like, damn, this is a nice couch. I like this couch.
bee. Or my dress was
This
very
couch
nice.
is so beautiful. Why don't I hit Max right now?
Yeah. No, that doesn't matter.
It's
But I
so
mean, we're dudes.
weird.
So I don't. Well, I mean, what are your
From
thoughts
a
on
female perspective, that does not make sense.
still
If
doesn't?
you going through a case of defamation and
Yeah.
you're trying to get your fucking money's worth from some shit that somebody done to you,
Yes.
the fuck your dress. He said I didn't look that good. If that's what you want the world to like see you as, what the fuck that gotta matter? The fuck your dog gotta matter? What the fuck your couch gotta matter? This is about us.
We got into a heated
Us.
argument, and I remember I was wearing blue jeans, hot
Nigga, I
top,
would never remember that.
Jordan 1s, the Biotex. I had on the fly knit, you know, the fly knit essentials jacket, 2 gold chains on, 3 earrings, 2 in one ear, 1 in the left ear. I was looking mad cute in front of the mirror when I seen myself.
That's not
And then
essential.
I got beat up.
Ike Turner, you fuck everything up. Ike Turner, you fuck everything up because you was beating the shit out of Tina, and ever since then, they've
R.I.P.
been looking at
Tina.
us a different way.
R.I.P. Tina. That's all I'ma say.
So,
Tina Turner did?
so I pulled up.
No, that's Whitney. Never mind.
Oh, yeah,
no,
what
no,
it
we-
did.
yeah.
Yeah, we just put death on somebody.
Hey, it may happen.
Yeah, how fucked up would it be if like?
But I want to ask everybody one individual question. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know everybody's backgrounds, but I assume that human nature is a piece of life. So at some point, whether we were kids, adults, children, teenagers, whatever, we've all been through like one minor issue with somebody, if not a major one. Do you remember like what you wore when you were in those issues?
Nope.
I can't
Do you remember what the room looked like?
Yeah. I remember what the room looked like when I went through my rape.
I don't remember no carpets. I don't remember none of
You
it.
don't remember nothing.
I
I
remember
don't
the
remember
room.
what the street looked like.
9 times out of 10 because it didn't. You got to think of the Johnny Depp and you. What's her name? Amber Heard.
Ever heard?
It's kind of good that they bringing up all these drugs on Johnny Defense because how can you remember all that shit and you're drugged and drunk like that?
Yeah.
But she said she didn't do drugs at the beginning, but then they said that they was doing drugs together when they was in Australia, then further on. So she fucking herself up.
I think.
So she ain't drink neither.
We don't know. She said she didn't do drugs.
Yeah, cause come on, I can't remember shit from Friday night.
Me
You was
either.
drunk as hell. Like,
Yeah. I think in any case it looks bad drug use at all. I think it's bad for it's definitely bad for your public image.
Yeah.
And really, what this comes down to, it's kind of sad to say, but like, it's supposed to be about the facts and proven, guilty beyond a shadow of reasonable doubt, right? All that stuff. What it really is about is, which one of these people is going to make the most emotional connection with each member of the jury, right? And we shouldn't know. It's a good thing we don't know. I don't know who these jury members are. I don't know if it was leaked or not, but
It was not yet.
But on the way public sentiment is about it, I wanted to pull this up because granted, this is just TikTok hashtags, not the end all be all, but the hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp has 11 billion views globally, right? The actor's name alone, so hashtag Johnny Depp, has 19 billion views. And the hashtag Johnny Depp is innocent has 3 billion views, right? Billion, right? Now, by contrast, right, because those are all billions, right? Those are all B's I was saying. Hashtag Justice for Amber Heard, 41 million. Not even half a billion, whereas Justice for Johnny Depp has 11 billion. So, quick math on that.
Quick math.
22 times the views, something like that. Like, a lot.
Quick maps like
in
Big
order,
Shot.
in order of magnitude, and then also, by contrast, hashtag Amber Turd has 1.6 billion. So I think, from a global standpoint, at least from what TikTok is showing, like, people, from what they're seeing on what's televised from the show, right? If that is an indication of how this jury's going to swing, I think Johnny Depp's
I want to get
case is
into
pretty
two
solid.
things with what you're saying. One,
Question.
the emotional on Johnny Depp's face is believable, and that could be a credit to him being a good actor. Yeah,
They're both professional actors.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be the one to judge any case based on what we've seen right now until it's finalized. But if I'm to take a stance outside of what I feel naturally about Johnny Depp, he's got years of training to be a better actor than she does. You got to think she didn't become a popular name in her artistry until really the Aquaman.
Aquaman, yeah.
Because she's not even known for the movie she did with Depp. He's known for that. It's the chemistry that brought them
Yeah,
together.
I couldn't even. And I'm not me as far as watching shit. I don't know.
I couldn't.
I've never
I couldn't tell you the name of it.
But I can name you a bunch of Johnny Depp movies.
Blow.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean's classic.
Pirates of the Caribbean, I think is what
Classic.
probably most people know him for.
Was it Pineapple Express?
No, that was her. Unfortunate
never
Events
mind.
and Licking These Snippets.
That was her. That was
Yeah.
Eating Gilbert Grape.
Yeah.
Classic.
The last Alice
Oh.
in Wonderland.
No, what's the one with the Fantastic Beasts?
Fantastic Beasts.
Depp's in that?
Yeah, he's in there. He's the criminal. He's in there.
Why did I think that was?
Nope,
Robert
he's
Downey
in
Jr.?
it.
I thought that was Robert Downey Jr.
Nope, he's in. If you watch, I think it's the last one that came out.
Oh,
He
not
was the one
first
in the carriage that was the criminal.
I haven't seen the last.
White
one.
hair. You
I
gotta
just
watch
saw-
it.
Oh, okay, I'll check that. out.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yep.
Yeah, that was.
That's a classic. That's a
Man,
I'll
classic.
tell you what. Actually, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Crybaby.
Yeah.
This is like 80s shit. Like,
Correct me if I'm wrong. Friday the 13th, I believe, was Johnny Depp's first movie.
Yeah, I think it
Really?
was. I think it was.
He got killed like immediately.
Yeah.
That was his first one. Jamie Lee Curtis, her first movie was Halloween. Horror movies in the 70s and 80s for like a lot of these big actors now was their start. Unrelated to anything we're talking about right
No,
now.
but it's just the credit and the history. So if I
Yeah.
wanted to go about the case looking at it from an acting standpoint, he plays it more believable.
Can I
She
ask y'all
does
one
not.
question?
Yeah, sure.
What about? I don't know if you heard about it.
Nightmare
That
on Elm Street, 1984. Freddy
Hey.
Krueger. Johnny
Classic.
Depp was in there.
Johnny, was that Johnny Depp's first movie? I think it was.
He made his film debut in Nightmare on Elm Street in
That was
1984.
right.
so I don't
Wait,
know
did
if you
say
heard.
Friday the 13th?
Yeah, you
it's
said
the
I meant-
same
it's
shit,
not
different,
my bad.
different
Okay.
toilet.
No, y'all good. But can I ask y'all, what about, I don't know if you heard about the defamation case, not the defamation case, but the NDA case that Johnny's putting against Amber. For after they got divorced, she leaked their NDA agreement stating that she wouldn't say anything about Johnny Depp and anything. But she went on, was it New York Times or whatever it was?
So
I may not be right.
That was the UK joint.
But
and
he's
with that
bringing
one,
back up.
Yeah, with that one, I could see why he would bring it up right now based on the defamation case.
Because she said she wouldn't speak about it.
In my mind, that does give a little discredit to him. Why would you ever need an NDA to tell somebody not to speak about you?
It's a whole thing.
But I could also see it on the same sense that, yeah, I don't want you using my fame to make yourself somebody more.
Yeah, but at the same time, like the dude's, you know, allegedly, you know, he's got his jar of dirt.
Quote unquote,
Like,
yeah.
And
the dude's
that's
lifestyle.
what
The
I'm
dude's
saying.
lifestyle is conducive to like, hey, if you're gonna be married to me, we're gonna have a non-disclosure agreement about the fact that I like to do cocaine. Okay.
I like doing my shit, yeah.
Just in case, right? Because it doesn't necessarily have to be. Everybody jumps like, oh, non-disclosure agreement because he was beating her or whatever. Like, it could have been non-disclosure agreement.
Just be the fact that I don't want you bringing me up. I've been quiet for so long.
Right.
So
But
don't.
technically, it was based off of her not saying anything about what, quote unquote, he did to her. But she went on the, what was it, the Me Too movement and started saying, oh yeah, I was abused, I was this, and I was that. And he was like, what?
So it's twofold.
I'm bringing
You gotta
it
look
back
at
up.
it. You gotta look at it from two different angles. One, it could be him trying to silence her.
Let me look it
But at
up.
the same time, it could just be a thing of like, yo, I've done this my whole life, and this is how I know how to live. Please don't put me in a position where it's compromising the fact that I get to work for the rest of my life when I've always existed this way as far as, you know, the media is concerned. Because, hey, I went through a lot of traumatic stuff as a child. It turned me into an actor, became an actor, and for me to be able to pivot on those emotions that I couldn't feel anymore because I was numbing myself up with dope amphetamines, I needed to do those to be able to feel, to be able to get through these scenes.
So I got it.
It's twofold.
I got it. So it says Depp 2 versus Amber Heard. 2019, and it's extended. It says 29/11. It's an ongoing defamation trial, but Johnny Depp is bringing up the NDA defamation / she lied agreement that from their 2015 to 2017 marriage that she would never say anything about him regarding abusing her. She signed it.
And then she talked.
Then she talked
Okay.
on a public, I think it was New York Post, so the Washington Post.
Okay.
She talked on the Washington Post. She didn't say his name, but she spoke about what she was going through in that moment. So now Johnny is trying to do that for $7 million.
So this is an entirely separate case.
Yeah, it is. They're bringing it up.
So they really, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I don't
Me either.
think you can bring up other alleged misconduct in your allegations of particular misconduct.
It's a separate lawsuit.
It's
It's a separate lawsuit.
Yeah, but you said they're bringing it up in this.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but you
he's
can't.
bringing it up as a separate lawsuit, like she said in the Washington Post.
Yeah.
So
Not his name.
Let me clarify.
What's
So
up? I'm reading it.
they're bringing it up while this trial's going on. But they're
That's what I'm
bringing it to
saying.
another courthouse. It's not going to the same one. But that is a sign that either he's making a really bad decision or he knows for a fact that he has this current court case locked up already.
See, that's the question. Is it I'm confident in this one, therefore this is going to be a slam dunk, or is it I'm not confident in this one, so I need to pursue this other avenue?
That's true.
We don't know, but just like the Megan Thee Stallion thing, like either it's going very well and I'm gonna keep hammering it home to get the most attention I can, or it's not going well, so I'm gonna keep hammering it home so that maybe the tides turn in my favor.
I got
Let me-
details though.
Let me ask you a
No,
question. Let me ask
we
you a
don't know
question
what the
before you get
motive
into it.
Yo, those sweatpants real to you?
Big facts.
That's badass.
Camo.
So
Yeah.
you have an opportunity to take somebody to court for defamation, but you can't take them to court for abuse. Would you create another case in between that to get over the abuse court case? Because he can't charge her with the abuse yet, because there is substantiating evidence, but no one's relied on that yet. First, I got to prove you're a liar. Then I got to show you're a habitual liar. Now I can show you you're abusing me. That's where I think he's gonna go with it. Because I think if Johnny Depp finishes this case, he's gonna take everything from her.
I agree. But the thing is that I agree.
You think you would?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he a nice
She
guy.
drug him through the dirt, ruined his film career.
When you're a nice
Drug
guy
him.
and you hurt, you'll do worse.
Drug him.
I've been there.
Drug him.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I don't know.
And the thing is that he's only suing, it's based off of that, the amount that he gave her for the charity and she didn't donate it.
Yeah.
But even though she said she donated, it's like a weird shit. Like
So
she's,
that's not even a thing that he needs to be.
but
concerned
it's
with.
based off of their divorce.
But that's like a fraud thing. If you,
But
if you
he's
Based
trying
on
to
the
pull it
fact
out.
that he paid it.
He
Yeah.
did.
He
That
did.
was his money, and
Yeah,
he's
but-
trying to do it based off their divorce.
He
That's
gave her
agreed
the
with.
money and then had to pay the ACLU something separate to cover it because she never gave the money.
Because she
to
never
them.
gave the money to
Yeah.
them.
Okay. Fine. So that's like criminal fraud shit at that point. That's
Maybe they can bring that up though.
They're already trying to charge her with perjury for the Australia case, and now they're pursuing possibly in the future this one too.
I don't know. It's all the real.
It's very confusing.
The real. Here's my real question. Like, why do we care so much?
Do you want me to know why? I can tell you why.
I mean,
We love Johnny Depp.
I do.
All his movies,
I do
we
love Johnny
him.
Depp.
What
I
movie
do. I
can
ain't
you
even gonna lie,
say?
Maximilian.
What movies can you say Amber Heard went here?
He's a good.
Aquaman. That's the only one.
Yeah, I get it, but like, it's like
I won't even say it's that.
She did her role in that.
But like, what effect? You know,
Modern day
affect
law.
us, though.
as
Modern day law.
a culture like America, like, why do we?
Do you want me to tell you
The
why?
future of modern day
And it's
law.
a big deal too, Mac, because I mean, I imagine how many women be getting away with this shit for real.
Right? That's my
So you
thing.
think it's just like symbolic of some?
It happens
some,
every
like,
day.
I think this is the next big shift in
yeah.
modern day law.
Yeah,
It happens every
A
day.
lot of men go down, and then a man will get locked up for 10 years, and then they find out 10 years later that he done raped this woman.
Yeah.
So now he done missed 10 years of his life.
That's what happened with the
The
beautiful
Five.
bones.
Yeah.
Beautiful bones.
Like that's a thing too, right there. Because you know,
But
at
also,
the end of the day, men are scumbags, but women are too.
But you know what? I'm gonna take it back real quick. I'm gonna throw this in there. Look at the Emmett Till case.
Yeah, she lied on
Look
him.
at the Emmett Till case.
I'm gonna take it
She
further
lied
than
on
all
him.
of that.
She's still alive. He is not.
Give it a second, let it breathe, let's calm it down. I'm gonna take it further than that. Modern law, in any time period you can go back in history, has never been decided by who's poor that's done wrong. It's by who's rich that decides the law next. That's why we care about it. We don't, to a primal instinct, yeah, the drama and the entertainment value, yeah, that brings us in. But to a survival instinct, it's, we already understand who our decision makers are and why they get to be decision makers. It's like, oh, you have the finances that I can't determine these laws.
Facts.
So if I can figure out whether or not you're backing my side as a legit victim or a legit person that may have to deal with this in the future, or someone that just understands if it goes wrong for all of us.
Yeah.
We got a certain level of investment in education we owe ourselves.
I think that was all right. So that was the gap for me, because like when you talk about cases like the Emmett Till case or the Kyle Rittenhouse case, that's stuff that people get attached to because if there's a racial animus to a crime,
They're linked
it's
in.
setting precedent, and you can relate to it. Like you can put yourself in those shoes and be like, this could happen to me. And like the Rittenhouse thing with firearm ownership came into question at that point, right? So you have an attachment to it. I think maybe my point or my disconnection from this, I just can't ever, and maybe I'm wrong, but like I can just never see myself getting into the side of where like my acting career is going to get fucked over by allegations of abuse. Like this is going to set precedent in law that's going to eventually affect me. But from the abuse side, like generally, I guess how men are viewed or how women are viewed, that bridges the gap for me. So that makes sense.
Because anybody can accuse you of abuse any day, even if you.
Yeah, but listen
you know
to
what
me.
I mean? There's no like inherent me reading about this case and being like, I'm interested in this.
But I got a point. How many men go on the stand and say they were abused by a woman?
Not very many.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the door opening to show men gets abused too. Women are abusers. Nobody speaks up about it.
That's the thing, though. That's not what this case is about.
It's not. It's about her.
It's about him. It's not about him getting abused, which may have happened. It's about
We never know.
her claiming that he abused her and him losing money for that. That's what the motivation is.
Agreed, but look
So
at
it's
what
like-
the evidence is for what she provided us.
Yeah.
Look at what he provided us. His whole fucking, was it third finger, middle finger, whatever, third or fourth finger is chopped off.
Lost a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but listen to me, like, it's more of that.
Could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have, but who would have known?
Right.
But it's more,
If
I
she would
think,
have never spoke up, he would have never had a reason to speak
he
up
wouldn't
about
say
it.
shit. Look
Yeah.
at his past. He didn't say shit about his mom.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, that's my point. That's my
Ever.
point. She could have been the most psychologically and or physically abusive person to him ever.
He never
and had
said shit.
had she not said shit that fucked him out of acting jobs, I don't think he would have ever cared.
Nope.
He wouldn't have ever cared to tell anybody.
I agree with that.
So it's like it's weird that that's what it takes, I guess. Is what I'm
But
getting.
look in the society we live in. It's always men are wrong. Y'all can see it.
Yeah.
Men are wrong.
Yeah. Typically.
What female is ever wrong?
Are you saying which ones are wrong? or
No,
which ones admit
ever,
that they're wrong?
ever, in general, like, are or ever wrong. If they get convicted or not, which one is ever wrong?
Oh yeah, I mean, and there's a conversation to be had about that too, with like the statistics of, you know, if we're talking about like armed robbery and the number of years on average that men do for that crime compared to women. We're talking about straight convictions. Like,
Yeah, convictions
not
overall.
arguing the validity of the convictions themselves, but total number, like, you know, men convicted of armed robbery, 10 years, women convicted of armed robbery, 3, something like that. They're like,
3 or less and they get out on parole.
yeah, some shit. So, but again, I think there's balance to it. We've had this conversation before on the podcast too, where it's like, you know, there's balance. It's like when people say, you know, well, the majority of victims of sexual abuse are men, so, you know, they're the real victims. And then I was like, yeah, well, it's because it's dudes doing it. The point is that men are the problem.
That was even the thing that her little
Yeah.
lawyer or medical perception tried to bring up. It was like, oh yeah, well, I've studied multiple cases of abuse, but every time it's the male perpetrator, and it's like, well, did you study any female perpetration? Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take anything away from male violators. They are
They out
trash.
here. They out here. They out
They
here.
go to jail.
Horrible.
This guy said
But I
manipulate
also
women, take over their moms.
Half of them don't get caught. That's
like,
the thing.
This guy said
I
manipulate
want-
women, take over their moms, put fear in them so they can't do nothing. I seen it.
We talked
I
about
want
Kelly,
all
and that's all
perpetrators
that
to go to
was.
prison. All
Yeah.
perpetrators should be in prison.
Yeah,
Fucking
absolutely.
faggots.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we're going to take a small break so that we
Oh,
can
Jay,
calm
you fuck
ourselves
shit
down.
up too.
We're going to calm things down for a little bit, and then we'll get into our last 2 studies. Our last one is going to be another serious case that's up right now. And then we'll get into a little bit of music, and then we out of here. So pull one up for us. All right, so we back. And we were wrapping up the Amber Heard joint death thing, right? With that, I think we all came to the conclusion, you know, there's a million ways to, and I'm just throwing it out as an analogy, a million ways to pursue this case, but with his focus being the defamation case and then working into later on, what's it, the NDA case, and potentially working his way into the abuse case. His case is starting to map itself out. What we're really focused on right now is how is her case developing. Because again, we're not going to pretend to be favorites, even though we might rock with somebody more. We're really just breaking it down for how the case to case goes. So I think in this case, you know, we break it down a little different than the Tory Lanez, Meg Thee Stallion thing, just because there is an opportunity for her to build a defense as long as she gets rid of the defamation. She's just not doing it. More evidence is coming out, and it's just making Johnny's side so much more believable and so much more relatable too. And my take on it is I really do see him going through with the NDA case and eventually building it into the, like, I'm the victim case. This is really physical abuse that I was put through case. Can we get the panel's analytics on the same situation so we can wrap this up? We'll start with you, Max.
I think I agree with you. I think, like I said, again, I started this whole thing with looking at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard not having a whole lot of connection to it. Definitely a part of me was like, super hyper rich people having just crazy lives and weird problems, and like, why does it matter? But I think it is probably going to be kind of important in the sense of, you know, that cultural shift of, Yeah, men that are dirtbags need to be put away, but also women that are dirtbags need to be put away. And it's the pendulum is gonna. It was over here when men were allowed to beat their wives, like legally allowed to over here with
really foul time.
With believe all women, which I think was from the outset. I've said that whole believe all women thing doesn't even make sense to me, and now it's coming back, and it's gonna lose momentum, and it's gonna center itself up. We're just not there yet.
It's either gonna become a type of conversation with court cases where it's either all fair or it's again back to the current politics where it's everybody versus everybody.
Yeah, ideally.
Before you go in, bro, from a female perspective, how you see this evening?
Oh, this shit fucked up. Overall fucked up.
Well, break down the analytics for us from a female perspective. What is it you're paying attention to, and what is it you're seeing?
I'm paying attention to her gestures, facial expressions, all of that. Like, if you've been in a situation like that, you know how you will feel in that moment. You absolutely know. Every time that moment's brought up, you in the whole like, oh fuck, I gotta relive this shit. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm going through this shit. But every time I watch her in this shit, it's more of a camera moment. Cheese.
It's disconnected.
It's not relatable for someone who's been through the same shit she's been through. And that's the thing that gets me, is because for people like us that's been through some shit like that, you know what the fuck it feels like when someone brings it up. I don't care if it was a day later, 2 weeks later, or a month and a half later. You understand what the fuck you felt in that moment.
Yeah. And so, not to cut anybody
No, you
off,
good.
but like, on that, if you're ever talking to someone that has had a similar experience, you could probably tell right away
Their actions.
whether or not they're full of shit. Right? You just kind of feel it, like you just kind of sense it, right?
You can sense it, or you can see their actions based off of how their facial expressions change, how their attitude changed, how their demeanor changed. Like, you see it. Mm-hmm. But with Amber Heard,
it's not there for you.
You can't see any of that shit. It's I gotta take a picture here, fake cry. Like, bitch, you ain't even crying. Like, what the fuck you mean? Mm-hmm. Like, people who actually been through some shit like this understand what it's like to be on the stand.
Pain connects to pain.
Yeah. You understand it, but you're not connecting with us. You're showing me you faking it. And to my perspective, it's more like, what are you trying to get from this? Overall,
$100 million.
She ain't gonna get it.
But that's what she's going.
But what are you trying?
Yeah.
What are you trying to get from this? Because there's people that's actually been through this shit. They're still living their life on a day-to-day basis and trying not to relive the shit they've been through. But you keep bringing it up, and it keeps triggering people that's watching the case. Like, oh, I've been through that. But when I look at you, I don't see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like...
I mean, I don't know what you mean, but I think I have. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't really
have an understanding
of
the situation.
Yeah, but I'm telling you from people that's been through that, it's like looking at you is showing that. Did you really? You know that you start questioning shit like.
You don't even relate.
Did you?
You're really trying to become an actor.
No, but it's more of the did you purpose? Like, have you really been this? Yeah. Because people who've been through that shit understand it. They feel it every time it's brought up. It's a whole trigger. And I know people don't like the word trigger, but it's a whole trigger that it's like, I'm back in that moment. I'm back there. My emotions from there to where the fuck we go to is still relatable. Because I'm feeling it. And that's the thing I don't get about this case, because it's like, all this shit happened to you, but you show no emotion or no impactful, facial expressions, body expressions, or anything that shows I've been through this. But for people who've been through it, once they hear that fucking trigger, assault, whatever the fuck, they're triggered. It's their whole demeanor changes. Mm-hmm. And it's so fucking crazy because she don't do it. She hit that fake cry. No, a bitch gonna cry. A bitch gonna be sad. A bitch gonna show the emotion that this is what I've been through. This is what happened. Keyword happened. Not my dress, my fucking floor, my fucking dog. In the moment, this is what happened.
Right.
And I remember it. It's not that I want to remember it, but it's always a trigger in your head that whenever you get in that situation, it flares up. It's like,
ingrained in you.
on this day, this happened. And even though you don't want to admit that it's a moment or a day that happens, it's automatically going to happen in your head. Like it's what is it?
It's ingrained. It's ingrained in your memories. You
Yeah,
can
but
never
it's
escape
like-
from it. It's a trap venture, basically.
Yeah, it's like, oh fuck, I'm back here in this moment. And it fucking sucks. And you put yourself, once you hear it, you put yourself in that moment.
You know what's fucked
Emotion
up?
wise, everything wise is back in that fucking moment.
You know
And
what's,
she's not doing it.
you know what's
Okay.
fucked up? Because where I'm from, we see a lot of that. Abusive relationships.
That's sad though.
But you know what happened after abusive relationship when they argue?
What?
They get back together.
Why? But why?
So what if they get back together? Like, what if
Why?
What if Tori and Meg get back together? What if it's just love?
But
it's not
love has
it's-
a meaning.
It's psychological manipulation. Usually, the victims in those situations are,
They're comfortable.
are prone
They're
to
scared
going
to
back
go
to
away.
them because
Yeah.
they don't know anything else. That's the
I
bad
agree.
part about it.
It's the devil, you know.
Yeah, but
So-
let's not take it from a relationship, perspective, right? Let's keep this shit strictly on our understanding of the law, so we can break this down for other people that might not have the greatest understanding of the law that we have. And I'm
Right.
not saying we have the best understanding, but from our perspective, how does this shift the culture to you?
It really don't. It's been the
Depending
same.
on how both these cases go, how does this shift it?
Honestly.
I feel like both of these men are innocent. If both of these men are found guilty, same shit, different totally.
What do you mean like that? Explain.
Same shit that been going
No,
on.
explain.
It's the same shit that
Because
been
so
going
many
on.
people don't understand that aspect of.
Once a person get rich,
There you go.
get a certain amount of money,
Mhm.
they blackball
Why?
because they want his money.
But
So what if
why?
it goes
He
different?
got too much influence.
So why you got to pay the female off?
He ain't paying the female.
Yeah, he is.
No, it ain't. The female ain't getting nothing. Just like with child support and all that extra shit, the female ain't getting nothing for real. The government getting all the money for real. The government running control because they're keeping the black man enslaved.
So I got another question. You talk about child support. Look at all this abortion shit going on. We are in Virginia. DMV this weekend stated that.
Let's not do that. Let's do that on our next episode because that's a serious topic.
Oh, I'm
Discuss
on
further.
it.
Yeah,
Like
we need to-
I'm in
we
that
need to-
We
shit.
need a whole 6-part miniseries.
Yeah, we need to
He
break
said
that down.
miniseries.
But I'm gonna redirect it for 1 second. So let's assume both of them become innocent.
Innocent. Mm-hmm.
Does it change the way law is prosecuted for men in general?
No.
Not black, not white, all men in general.
No.
Does it change the way prosecution is held?
No.
I don't.
Are
really-
men given the benefit of doubt of actually being innocent before proven guilty?
No.
I don't really care about law. I just feel like the world would be a better place.
Okay.
Without it,
So let me ask the second question. If they're both proven innocent, does this change the narrative of all women are innocent before proven guilty?
Women are innocent before. Ooh,
Proven guilty.
hold on.
that they got you.
I mean, some women take abuse,
Hmm.
but some women give abuse. So it's like too high to get over, too low to get under. So we stuck in the middle, and the pain is stuck.
But why?
That's a Michael Jackson bar. All
But
right.
why?
Definitely a Michael
I'm gonna ask one more question.
Yeah. It's like, no, look, let me look.
Dear shit.
Love is tough.
Hmm.
Love is hurtful. Love is hard.
Love is spiteful.
Love is spiteful. Love is revengeful.
Love is tedious.
Love is angry. Love
Yes.
is devious. Greedy. Love is selfish.
Big facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, it boils down to emotions. And you got two people. And it's rising. Both of them rising.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, who gonna take it there? It's
Everybody.
like the Clash. You see what I'm saying? It's like, I've been there.
So I'm gonna ask one last question. I'm gonna ask you to take anybody on the panel, and it's a yes or no question. Can adjudication ever dictate love?
What's the
No.
Law.
No.
No, never.
Can adjudication
Never.
ever
No.
justify love?
No, never.
No.
Never.
No.
Never in life. They did. The last thing they should have did was took this to court. They should have just handled it like grown people, mature people, and I did you wrong, you did me wrong. You know what I'm saying? We both heard.
Again, this is the SagaPod. We always gonna talk about things from multiple angles, and we never gonna deal with anything as if it's our
That's a real
personal.
talk.
But I got a statement on that though.
Hold up, let's finish. We're never gonna deal with it as if it's our personal values that justify how things go out. We're always gonna self-analyze and sideline analyze, get through with it, and then move on about it. So with that, I want to cut this conversation off because this is one that's close to all of our hearts because all of us have somehow dealt with it. Get into one more that's close to all of our hearts without getting too deep into it. We're seeing another situation with a RICO charge, right? For anybody that's not understanding what the RICO is, I'm gonna give it to you plain and simple. Racketeer, influence, and corrupt organization. Racketeer, influence, and corrupt organization, right? It's the same case we saw 6ix9ine get hit with. And what it came down to him was that he was funding a lot of different things. Now, I don't want to get into details with the RICO. I just want to ask an honest question about the panel. Is a RICO even a fair charge to hit anybody with? Because the RICO in itself means if you're tied to anything whatsoever, you could be charged with the greater end of the whatsoever. You might not know that you're doing the whatsoever. I could pay a homie because he say he needs money, find out that he's tied up in something that I'm tied up in, or that he's not, and now it's. I just want to ask about the fairness of the RICO charge.
Again, I'll say it again. I'm not a lawyer, but I do think a fundamental part of that charge, when you're talking about a RICO case that gets built against an organization, I think part of the burden of proof there is establishing that all parties were in fact aware that they were part of a corrupt organization. So now, could it happen? Could it occur to where what you're saying does happen? Like it's just some random person that gets caught up and swept up in the whole thing, right? Like, yeah, sure, probably could happen, but I don't think that's the intent of it necessarily. You know what I'm saying?
So I would disargue you because the initial case that builds the RICO charge in itself is literally sweeping up underlying people that have nothing to do with anything. They just have enough on their record where you can tie it to something else. And what happens with a lot of these RICO,
get the bigger fish, right?
Yeah, what happens with a lot of these RICO charges is they'll sit back for years and watch somebody make something of themselves only to bring them down because they still have connections to something. Now, I'm not a person that would ever preach signing a flag or being in any type of organization, right? I would never preach that to anybody. But if you are and you decide to get out of it, guess what you can't do anymore once the RICO comes on? You can't disassociate yourself. If you were a part of it at one time, just because you got out of it now and you're making a better life, if you still associate with people that you might have known and be comfortable with, whatever your associates do, you might not be responsible for, but now we can hold you responsible for. But taking out the bigger fish is always going to look better than taking out the little fish.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with it.
But in all honesty, did they get the bigger fish?
We'll never know because the RICO is to collect as many as possible. At the end of the day, on the RICO charge, you're not going to get everybody you brought in for. You're just going to get the mass majority that you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest RICO cases was was in New York. I can't remember the name of it. It was one of the Italian families, and it was like 136 people got arrested at once.
The Italian mafia is literally why the RICO was created.
And you can't just say Italian mafia because there's multiple
branches.
Mafia translates to brave man, right? Like it goes back to Sicilian culture, right?
Depending on how you define it.
Yeah, but it goes back to Sicilian culture where that was a culture and a community of we take care of ourselves, we don't go to the greater legal authority, and if you do, you're not worthy of respect. Like you're not.
And the issue with that was the guys that lead at the top are not the guys that are initiating anything. So you can't cut off the head ever. You can only cut off the limbs,
Right.
and every time you cut off a limb, a new limb grows, and that's why they created RICO, because it allows us to take the heads to slow everything down. It's not, we're being literal, it's not really about stopping it. It's about getting control of the head.
Yeah.
That's what the whole RICO case is about.
So I got a question.
I mean, but these guys are rappers. When you blow up, move smarter, talk smarter, be wiser.
Now, I'm bringing this up for two reasons, right? My number one reason is I think that RICO in itself needs to be reanalyzed because I think it is unjust in itself and needs to actually be critical on the critical components of who's creating the injustices.
So
But
can
at
you
the same
answer
time-
my question? What is a RICO? For the people who don't know.
I
You
broke
said
down-
it earlier.
Yeah, I broke it down in the beginning.
Yeah, but overall in
I'm gonna
layman's
finish it up.
terms.
I'm gonna finish it up with my last thoughts.
Okay.
Right? So, the RICO was built to cut off the head because you want to tie everybody into what's what.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're not really catching the actual perpetrators. You're catching whoever you can to
At the
justify
top.
finance at the end of the day. And at the same time, what advice I would give to rappers is stop stepping in front of a microphone and feeling like you got to make yourself seem tough in front of somebody else.
Right. Entertain.
Be good at music in general.
Yeah.
Why do we gotta rap about things that habitually get people in trouble and then try to live that life again on the microphone? I don't think
It goes
I
back-
write love songs.
It goes back to what I said an hour ago, 2 hours ago, whatever it was, right? It's attention, man.
It is.
That's
You're
why.
right about it.
That's why.
But it
happens.
garners the wrong attention, and then that attention moves into, because we're in America, where now it's the culture we're in isn't even a thing where I can look at you as my brother and be like, hey, hip hop is black culture, let me teach you about it. No,
Yeah.
hip hop is the dominant culture. You know about it even before I teach you about it. There's certain things I can walk you through, but you're already seeing the plays of it. It drives a lot of the way we wear our clothes, hats backwards.
Fact.
Yeah.
His hat forward right now, but you could have gone back an hour ago and both of your hats were backwards.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
things we
I've been-
do.
I've changed
Sad
mine.
backwards, right?
We listen to some of the same music, we relate to some of the same philosophies, but I want the people, the podcast that are listening to understand, it's like we became a community with nothing else other than our common understanding of what we were navigating our lives through growing up in the place we grew up in, right? It took a lot of time for you and me to relate to each other, but it, in the greater scope of things, it really didn't, which is why we're down with doing the podcast.
Yeah.
It took a lot of time for me to connect with my brother and for us to talk about like real life stuff, but it didn't take much time in the greater scope of things for y'all to relate to each other, for us all three to be comfortable. It took a lot of time for me to get to understand E's perspective on a lot of things, but in the grander scheme of things, it really didn't take much time at all. We are an entertainment and lifestyle podcast because we really sit down and talk to each other.
Now, do you think those guys like Thug and Gunna, you think they at risk at all?
Nope.
So I watched through Thug's deposition earlier
Yeah, we
today, and it
did.
looked like his bond is actually gonna get released.
But it's based off the one guy.
It's based off whether or not they can prove he's not a flight.
Yeah, it's
flight
one
risk.
guy. It's one
And
guy.
he's been willing to give up.
That's a lot
His
to
passport
lose,
and
man.
everything.
That's a lot to lose, and I feel like I feel like those guys are smarter than that.
But why do you think those guys get put in those predicaments? Like honestly, overall, why do you think they get put in them?
To be made an example of.
Exactly. They're
Of
public
what?
figures. So
They're
they want
public
to.
figures.
They want
But
to show.
example of what?
The example that they want to show is that our brunch is worth the amount of money that it takes in.
What's that got to do with money? That's a life sentence.
Money is everything.
That's a life sentence. That's based off of
They
a
don't
world
care.
perspective.
I think
They
it's
don't care.
no. Here,
What's up?
I think it's way simpler than that. I think it's way simpler than that, right?
What's up?
If you are in the business of
Industry, got it.
catching criminals and putting them in prison,
Mhm.
if you are like whatever your gig is, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't matter if you're a salesman. It doesn't matter if you're a fighter, like a professional fighter. It doesn't matter if you're in the military. Everything is about competition, right? And if you're in the business of putting bad guys in jail, you want to get that W.
Mhm.
It's
You
not
just-
about the little fish. It's
you
always
wanna-
about the big fish.
You want to get that W, and the more the guy with the more notoriety that you can put
on,
in jail
yeah.
for doing bad shit, the guy that does the worst shit.
Street curd.
Exactly.
It's the bigger fish. It
But-
justifies your pot. It
when
justifies
gangs-
your cut.
When gangs fight right, if you are a gang member and you take out a prominent member of a rival gang, where does that elevate you to, right? If you are in the military and you take out a top terrorist guy, what does that elevate you to? If you are a prosecutor and you put away a really bad dude in charge of a lot more really bad dudes, how does that make you look? How does that elevate you?
You level up.
Like a hero.
You want the W, and that competitive nature is what corrupts everything in life to a certain point. Because at some point,
Well, you keep it general, just like
for
that.
some people, it comes down to about winning. What is it?
It's about career. It's about notoriety. It's about being seen when you thought you wouldn't be.
Yes.
What's that guy name on when we went to Washington D.C. the other day? The FBI building.
J. Edgar Hoover.
That's a prime example right there.
Yeah, actually, yeah. You do a whole case study about his competitive nature and some of the laws that he helped put in place, right? That looking back on it, don't make a lot of sense. But
So I can go back to, I don't know if you watched Atlanta, the last episode,
It was a phenomenal episode. And we want to shout
They
out
tied
Childish
back.
Gambino for that.
and
Rainbows, sunshine, everywhere I go.
But
they did that.
with all of that being said, this was another one of our deeper episodes.
Big facts.
Last week we kind of, we did our tangents. We got it off on episode 9. It's at the end of the day, the TheSagaPod is about homie conversations. Sometimes we get deep, sometimes we hang out, sometimes we talk entertainment. Next week for sure, we'll get into the music that came out this week and will come out next week. We'll get into some entertainment stuff. We'll relax the vibes a little bit. That way you guys can have a few more drinks. But with this being said, final words.
Spread love, man. And don't judge a book by its cover. We on the outside looking in on everything. I can only tell you what's going on where I'm at right now. So, period.
Any final words?
no, I think that wraps it up quite nicely.
Hey, any final words?
I got one. Don't stop doing your shit for someone else. It's all about you.
And I'm going to conclude with this. Don't waste your time on the internet believing that's the real world.
Big facts.
Period.
It's not. It's not. The
Yeah,
people
we
that's
did that.
able to touch you in real life, like really put time and energy into your life, that's where your focus needs to be. I know we all trying to make careers and do everything we need to do, but invest your time where home is. And with that being said, it's the TheSagaPod. We love y'all. Like, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff. We out.
Hey!
Gotta play some music.